a maker, you may have experienced the conundrum of feeling like you have to make everything. I know that I certainly did when I first started sewing. In 2021, I committed to sewing all of my own clothes, and honestly, I burned out from that really quickly. It's just unrealistic. It puts a lot of pressure on you both to make as much as you can, but also creatively. It left me feeling really uninspired. The thing is, just because you can make it doesn't mean that you have to. I think part of sewing is that you really understand the balance. Same with anything, really. You don't want to be over consuming. You also don't want to be over making or over producing, so to say. Now that I have been in my making journey for a little while, I have a sort of like mental checklist that I have written out into a physical checklist so that I can maybe help you think about these things the next time you're trying to decide if you want to make something or you want to buy it. This is just my process, may or may not work for you. You may have different things in your categories, but this is just a little peek into my brain and what I like to think about. The first on my make list is clothing that I'm inspired by. So what that means is usually I'm really inspired by the fabric, or I see something on Pinterest that I want to recreate. And in those moments, that's just when I'm like being my most creative, and that's when I am sort of like expressing myself and doing it for like the art and the fun of it. That is when I just let myself make whatever I want, and that usually feels really good. On my buy list is sort of the opposite. So things like basics, underwear, t-shirts, bras, socks, those sorts of things. I truthfully am like not really inspired by those things. I have a very particular fit that I like, and in my attempting to sew, I just haven't found like the t-shirt feel that I like, or the sock feel from knitting a sock, or underwear or bras or any of that. So on my sort of buy list is probably going to remain those basic items. I might try to like make a bodysuit or a t-shirt here and there, but overall I will mostly prefer to buy them than to make them. That said, maybe you're super inspired by making basics, but you would prefer to buy something that's a little bit more unique. It's totally up to you. On my make list is something that I can't find the right fit of. For me, this usually ends up being jeans, and I resisted making jeans for a really long time, but honestly, and I said this in my previous video or in a previous video, that I found it easier to make jeans that fit me than I did to buy them. I had been looking for like that perfect pair of jeans for ages, could not find anything, and then I made a pair of jeans and they fit me wonderfully, and I've since made other pairs of pants that I like much better than anything that I've bought ready to wear. This also goes for things like jumpsuits. I haven't ever really found a jumpsuit that I like the fit of in store. Usually the torso is either too long or too short, or the pants are too long or the pants are too short, or whatever it is, and in making my own jumpsuits I have been able to kind of customize that fit for exactly what I like. Another one on my buy list is athletic wear, and honestly I thought about making leggings and I thought about making like a sports bra, but it's just something I think I would much prefer to buy. I really don't actually like working with synthetics all that much. I've done it a little bit, but I just really don't feel inspired by it. I don't like how it feels to work with, and I know that like usually if I'm buying athletic wear, I can go with a company that's reputable and just feel better about that and know I'm gonna get something that is a really good quality. Whereas if I'm making it, like I said, I have a really hard time working with that sort of fabric. I might end up not liking what I have made, and then I've wasted this fabric that is really hard to recycle or to upcycle. I think this also goes with like swimsuits, anything of that type. Another one on my make list is anything that kind of falls with outside of my budget, or that I know I can make cheaper and love just as much. So this is not about, being ultra thrifty or fast fashion or any of that. It's really more like there's a number of sustainable brands or, really beautiful designer items that I think are gorgeous, but I know wouldn't really work within my budget. So I'll try to make something that's inspired by them that I know that will fit within my budget and also be something that I really love. Things like slow fashion jumpsuits, wedding guest dresses, those like special sort of like novelty picnic style dresses, anything like that. Anything that is, maybe slow fashion inspired, but isn't exactly within like the money I'm willing to spend. Oh, and knit sweaters. I will probably always either thrift or knit my own sweaters because buying sweaters new is so pricey, and I usually don't like the quality. They usually have too much acrylic, or if they don't have any acrylic in them, then they are super pricey. And I know it might take me a month, but then I can have the sweater of my dreams. So there we go. Something I will always buy is clothing that I know that I can find kind of in multitudes. So for example, I talked about before how I will probably never ever make a trench coat because there are so many vintage or secondhand beautiful trench coats, and honestly, I just don't think that I would have the mental stamina to make a trench coat. There's a lot of steps there. It would be really satisfying, but outerwear in general, like wool coats, I really wanted to make a wool coat, but I know that I would sooner buy one or thrift one than make one. Lastly, you're gonna end on another buy item, but I will always buy if I need something and I don't want to put the pressure on having to make it. So for example, a few months ago, I needed a pair of jeans. I knew I wanted to make jeans, but I needed jeans sooner than I could make them. And so I decided to try and find a pair of jeans. I really like them and it worked out great. And I will continue to, buy underwear or buy a dress for a wedding if I'm going to a wedding, if I don't have time to make one, things like that. I'm gonna kind of depressurize the making whenever I can so that I can, enjoy making and really be present when I'm doing it and not put so much stress on myself for it. And so that's everything. That's kind of how I decide if I'm gonna make or if I'm gonna buy something. Let me know what you think about this video. Do you kind of have a similar checklist? Do you plan to make as much clothing as possible, or are you trying to buy less and make more? Let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you wanna hang out more, I am on the internet at Making Cassie on TikTok and on Instagram. I post there before I post here, so that's a good place to hang out with me. Otherwise, I will see you sooner rather than later. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.